What's going on, Show Nation? It's Movie with Movie Gaming TV, and in today's video we are going to be talking about hitting. Yes, that's right, we are back in the cage today and we are going to talk about hitting. And I've made several videos on this in the past, so just type in Movie Gaming TV hitting. The videos from last year I'm pretty proud of. They did over like 70,000 views, 45,000 views, so I know that folks liked watching those videos. It's one of the staples of the channel. Be sure to subscribe. I'm sure I'll put out an update in the middle of the season, something like that. But my goal of this video is to make you a better hitter, teach you the metas of how the best players hit in this game, and I'm going to try to get you better at hitting. Now, the first thing that I want to do is let's get you set up on the best cameras here, and the best interface. Now, I like zone with buttons. I like using reticle in the past, but this year I'm using wedge. I suggest that you practice on something that can make you better and you're not comfortable with. So if you play on rookie a lot, you know, maybe switch it up to all-star. If you play on all-star a lot, switch it up to legend. This is a great way to warm up before you start playing, as well as doing challenge of the week, to go in there and get some swings in before you play a live competition online. May take like 10 or 15 minutes before you play online. But you want to go with zone, you want to go with buttons, you want to go with wedge, and you want to use the strike zone hitting view. Now I'll try to sum up why I use the strike zone hitting view in as quick as possible here of reason. Now the strike zone hitting view, and I'm going to use like this so you can really see a big difference here. We're going to set it on rookie, and then maybe we'll do some hitting on some other difficulties as well. But the main purpose of this video is just for me to show you guys some tips, not for me to hit like a million bombs. I just want to have some gameplay in the background. Be sure to check out some of my other videos if you want to see me hitting. I've saved some clips on like legend of like scoring like 10 runs in an inning, and I just was thinking I could put those in and stuff like that. But just take my word for it, man. I can hit. That sounds really weird. I don't know where I'm going with that. Let's just get back into the hitting tips. So basically, the reason I use strike zone is because you can see when he's pitching, the ball itself has the baseball itself has as many pixels as possible. It looks as big as possible, and also the interface, this PCI, this yellow thing on the screen, it is as big as possible as well. And it has the most, what I mean by that is like there's the most pixels possible on the screen for me to see. So if I went to the cameras and I switched this up, let's say to like strike zone 3, now you can see that the baseball itself has way less pixels and the interface itself has less pixels, thus making it a lot harder to use. So when we switch back the camera to strike zone, now it's a lot bigger, and that's a good way to get out of a slump too. If you're in a slump, maybe you're grinding and not hitting that well, switch to a zoomed out view for a couple of bats and then come back into this view. I refer to that as the passes, and the pass is like taking the donut off of the bat, and then now your bat feels a lot lighter. Same kind of idea here. So here's the other stuff that I want to talk about. We have 7 tips for you guys today that are new. And now that you're all set up in the best view, now you can do what is tip number 1, which is see the ball. Seeing the ball is so important. Eyesight is everything in baseball. Lots of hitters, I know like George Brett had like 2015 vision, and this will also like lead into our 3rd tip. But seeing the ball is really important. Make sure that you're playing at night or early in the day so you can see the ball, track the ball with your eyes the best that you can. That's really, really important. You need to keep your eyes focused on the ball, focused on his release point, the pitcher's release point, etc., etc. The next thing you need to do is study the pitcher. So we got Tyson Ross out here. He throws a slider, a 2-seam fastball, 4-seam fastball, and a cutter. The slider is his best pitch. The cutter is his worst pitch, as far as like break and speed and all that kind of stuff is considered. Like that's how that works over there. And then you have the energy and the confidence meter. As the energy meter goes lower, your PCI, this yellow thing, will get bigger in size. Sorry, I don't know why I swung at that. But you're confident, and also the confidence of the pitcher, when that goes down, I feel like when people get a lot of bloop hits and stuff like that, or they start hitting a lot of home runs, the confidence meter of the pitcher has been going down. And once that gets under halfway, you're pretty much in the zone to start really knocking out that pitcher from the game. So if you're getting a lot of bloop hits against you while you're pitching, pay attention to that confidence meter. When it goes below half, it's not good. When it starts to get really low, it's not good. Just get that pitcher out of there or try to do a mound visit or something. I feel like that's one part of the game that's kind of like still not very, it's like trying to be simulation, but it ends up kind of being a little bit arcadey. So make sure that you study the pitcher. Now, the third thing that we're going to talk about is reading the pitch, like the spin of the pitch out of his hand. So you're trying to detect what kind of pitch it is as early as possible. So chances are it's probably going to be a slider or a fastball, or it might be a cutter. Basically, it's going to be straight, or it's going to be moving, you know, from straight to like my hitting right. It's going to move either just right down the middle, or it's going to move like that. And I want to read out of his hand. I saw it was a fastball there. I want to read out of his hand as quickly as possible what kind of pitch it is. And I used a power swing there as well. That felt good. But yeah, I want to read as quickly as possible what pitch it is and recognize that pitch. So that's it. If you can, you know, you want to keep you want to watch the ball, and then you want to recognize the pitch. That looked like a fastball, and you'll just get better and better at that. Just something to keep in mind. Now, the fourth tip is a little strange, and that is, don't press the button too hard. Sometimes I feel like I start, like that time I try to press the button as hard as I possibly could. You don't really need to, like after you've been playing for a long time, let's say you're like grinding career arcs or Conquest or Conquest Extreme, which I really recommend for you to get better at the game, is playing Conquest Extreme. And that is, don't press the button too hard. You don't need to press it that hard. You just need to like lightly press it. It'll help with your timing a little bit better. It'll help you from quote unquote over swinging. I don't know, like just with you inputting the button on the controller. So definitely you don't have to push the button that hard. Just nice and easy like I did there will drive the ball for you. And the next tip that I have for you guys is you might get one good pitch in at bat. Pay attention. You know, another thing is to study what your hitter has for quirks. One of the best quirks to have is dead red. Dead red makes your PCI get bigger with 2 strikes. It's a really, really good quirk to have for your player, and you see that in your player's information. So that's a really good one to have. You're going to get one good pitch in a bat, especially like on higher difficulties on Legend and probably online. You got to see your pitch and get it. Something that really has helped people out in the past, I got this tip from Cardinal Bird back in the day, is if you're really struggling, take until you have 2 strikes anyways. Take until you have 2 strikes anyways. Then it kind of forces you to get a good pitch, but you may get only one good pitch in a bat. So wait for it, hit it, and drive it. Now, number 6 is why I want to talk about the wedge this year, and I've really been liking it. I really like the wedge dot. It's like I try to visualize it as the sweet spot on the bat. So that's how I try to time the bat hitting the ball through the zone, and I want the dot to simulate where the sweet spot is of the bat. So that's kind of how I think of the timing of my swing as the ball comes in, is I want to basically use the dot as a barrel. Now, a huge tip that'll really help you out when you switch to zone hitting is you don't want to keep the PCI stagnant before you hit. So I like to move it a little bit. With reticle, I'll move it like all the way up here to like the pitcher's slot where they're going to pitch it. But with wedge, what I do is I just move it very, very slightly up. Just very slightly up to the arm side. This keeps your thumb like loose and ready to go. It really keeps your thumb loose and ready to go, instead of just leaving it in the middle and trying to react at the last second. Like, move it around. I like to move it around pre-pitch. I might go inside to try to like focus on like pulling the ball. So like I'll just move it around a little bit beforehand. Get your thumb loose as that pitch is coming in. So I like to move it sometimes like down and in. If I'm focusing on an area that they're pitching a lot, I'll move it down and in, or down and middle, and then at the end I'll move it right back up here. So here's like a, you know, I might be like going like this, and then I move it up a little bit, and then it just like helps you get your thumb loose to track the ball. Like you'll see a lot of top players doing that if you watch their streams, you know, kind of like getting loose, move it up a little, track the ball and hit it. So that's kind of like another thing to focus on as well. It's like the wedge dot is a sweet spot, maybe move it a little bit before you hit. And there's one last thing I've really been focusing on with these career arcs is I'm really trying to elevate the ball, and I talked about this in my pitching tips video, and I'm gonna try to do it in this video the best that I can, but just try to do it yourself and you'll kind of notice it. So like the dot, if you took the top half of the dot, all right, and you put the top half of the dot and you try to hit the under part of the baseball. So I'll try to make like a little graphic on screen in my video editor. You want to place that dot and you want to get under the ball, but you still want to hit the dot on the ball, but you want to get under the ball so that you can lift it and create that launch angle to hit the ball in the air. You don't want to hit the ball on the ground. You want to get the dot slightly under so that you can get the launch angle to hit the ball in the air. When you hit the ball on the ground, you're going to hit. That's actually a pretty good one there if I can hold it there. It's not the best. I like the ball to be like just a little bit down, but you can see what I'm saying. I want to get centered and under the ball so that I lift the ball for line drives and I lift the ball for home runs. So you want to get the dot slightly below the ball to get it elevated. If you hit on top of the ball, you're hitting to the ground, you're hitting the shifts, you're not going to be hitting home runs and line drives. You want to get, I think I was pretty good there too. I try to power swing to make it a little bit smaller, but you want to get just under the ball. Now this year it hasn't been as much of a problem, so I don't want to get it into it too much, but you also want to practice on pulling the ball. So when the ball's inside, that was a bad pitch to do it on, but when the ball's inside, start your swing early so that you can pull the ball. It's not as big of a deal this year because there's a big meta going on with people just throwing a lot of low off speed, and that's really goes into this tip too. Is like you want to still, that time I try to get too dramatically under the ball. You don't want to start dropping your PCI because that's a huge problem that a lot of people have. But if you've been hitting for a while with all this stuff, try to hit the bottom half of the ball. It's something that Josh Donaldson's been preaching. They've been saying, I've seen it on like MLB Network and stuff like that. The old theory of getting down on the ball is out, man. You want to get under the ball and lift it so you don't hit into ground balls, hit into double plays. And obviously you want to look for pitches up higher in the zone to do that on. It's going to be easier to do that on. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much my pitching tips video for right now. I'll probably make more of them in the future. But if you like this video, please drop a like on this video. If you'd like to subscribe, that would be great. The notification bell, if you click that, you guys know how YouTube works. It'll send you a little notification that I posted a new video. So if you'd like to do that, that would make me happy. You can follow me on Twitch. Or you can follow me on Twitch as well. I live stream on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. If you like to see some of this stuff in action, be sure to do that. The live streams will be right on this channel, and they'll also be on Twitch at the same time. I use a little thing to stream them on both. And then you can follow me on Twitter at Movie Gaming TV. So I hope these tips helped. Let me know if you guys have any questions down in the comments below. Happy hitting, everybody. Hit some bombs out there. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.